Hey, what's going on? This is Andre Sweeney, the Life Specialist. Welcome to the Get a Life Show, the show that gives you the tools and principles necessary for an outstanding life. Today's segment is called Life Nuggets, and today I want to talk to you from the subject 7 Habits from Highly Successful People. Now, these habits come from Steve Covey, and they're not mine, but I thought I would share them with my Get a Life audience, and I thought they would be a blessing to you. Number 1, the first successful habit is successful people are proactive. They don't sit back and wait for things to happen to them. They don't sit back and wait for things to go wrong. They take the initiative and they make things happen. They do things, they implement things to ensure that whatever it is, whether it be relationships, their projects, their jobs, what have you, they do those things to ensure that they're successful. So if you're a successful person and you're married, you do things like go out on date nights. You bring your wife home roses. You say things nice to her. You guys go out and spend time on vacations. You do things before separation comes. You do things before divorce comes to ensure that things are going to be good. Proactive people are go-getters. They're fire starters. They go out and make sure before there's any issue that things are going to be all right because they are proactive. So that is number 1. Number 2, successful people begin with the end in mind. In other words, they see the complete picture. They have vision. Successful people already see themselves promoted. They already see themselves elevated. They're already taking the steps to make sure that at the end they have an exit. They make sure that they're not trapped. No dead-end jobs for successful people because they see the end of a thing. They see themselves complete. Successful people are finishers, and they see the project done before it even starts. So if you want to be successful, you have to be able to see the end of a thing. You have to already see yourself a champion. You have to see yourself already holding up the trophy because you're successful. Number 3, successful people do first things first. Or in other words, they take care of priority. A successful person does not waste a lot of time with things that do not matter. A successful person does not focus on things that's not going to bring them home in the end. They focus on priority, whatever that is. That could be family, your wife, your children, whatever your ultimate goal is. A successful person does not get sidetracked by things that are inconsequential. A successful person does not get sidetracked with mundane things. They don't get sidetracked with foolishness because they prioritize their day. Whatever that's on their to-do list, they make sure those things happen first because they're successful. Number 4, successful people think win-win. They're not individualistic. Successful people don't just care about themselves, but they do things to make themselves win and you. If I make you win, you're much more likely to make sure I win. If I make sure your needs are taken care of, you're much more likely to make sure mine are too. If I make sure you come in first, usually you're going to be pulling me in right after you. Because successful people think win-win for everyone. Not me, myself, and I, but we. Not my agenda, but our agenda. Not my needs and wants, but our needs and wants. Successful people make sure everybody wins. And at the end of the day, there are no losers. And no one goes home mad. It keeps down jealousy and envy. Because I'm making sure that we're all happy. The next one is successful people seek to understand first, then be understood. Are you a good listener? Or are you the type of person that is already thinking of what you're going to say while I'm talking? If you do that, you're not a good listener. And listening is the beginning to understanding. If you want to be successful, make sure that people understand or that you understand first. Then get your point across. Make sure that understanding is the most important part. Not getting your point across, not making sure you win the argument, but making sure understanding takes place. That fosters trust. That fosters, hey, I know I can depend on you. When you try to understand before that you make sure you're right on a point, that makes the whole thing go better. The next one is synergy. Successful people bring in all people from all different points of view. They bring in point A and point B. They make sure point C has a voice. They make sure point D is understood. It's not just them, but they bring people together. Successful people collaborate. They're not just making sure that their point gets across, but they're making sure everybody is involved. When you involve people, then people have an vested interest. When you involve everybody's ideas, then people are more likely to try to make sure the project goes over. But when you just care about you, your agenda, how you want it, it alienates people. People are not willing to work on something they don't have interest in. When people have investment in something, they stick with it. They want to see it work because they're invested in it. But if you don't get people's investment and you don't get people's ideas, they're going to tune out. And when you need them, they're not going to be anywhere to be found. So make sure you bring people together and you use them. Last but not least, successful people sharpen their tools. If you're a good communicator, then take more communication classes. If you're a leader, then study up on more leadership tools. If you're the type of person that's good with graphics and advertising, do something to sharpen those things up. A successful person never rests on I have it, or I've learned it all, or I know it all. A successful person is always trying to make themselves better because successful people understand one thing, that you're only as good as what you know right now. And when today passes, you have to go out and get some more education. This is Andre Sweeney, the Life Specialist, and I'm here to tell all of you to get a life.